Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, girl.
Hey, y'all. Hey, good morning. Back at it again with the back at it again. So while we were away, the Supreme Court of the United States made a few rulings in cases on their docket. One of them being deciding whether to grant former President Donald Trump immunity from prosecution for alleged crimes committed while he was in office. Well, last Monday, July 1st, the High Court ruled 6-3 in favor of the former president, meaning he is shielded on some levels from criminal charges for acts he took in office. As a result of this rulings, Trump's sentencing for his hush money trial in New York has been pushed back to September, so he's no longer going to be sentenced on July 11th, and he will be able to remain on the campaign trail unless the judge in that New York hush money case sentences him to prison or home confinement. Now, the decision also means Trump's election interference case will probably be delayed until after November while a lower court litigates that decision. Trump's advisor, Alina Habba, shared her thoughts on the ruling. Let's hear more from her.
I think that the justices made the right decision. Absolute immunity is important for all presidents. I've said it time and time again. I've argued on immunity for President Trump, and I think they did get right that they recognize absolute immunity exists. They basically have said, sorry, Jack Smith, you don't get to just impede and intrude on the executive branch. We get to have protections for presidents who are doing things while they are in office so that they don't come out and get targeted and criminally and civilly sued.
Now, Jack Smith is the special counsel for the United States Department of Justice, just in case you didn't know. And on the other side of the aisle with that, President Biden shared his thoughts on the ruling. Let's hear more from President Biden.
The American people must decide. They want to entrust the president once again, the presidency, to Donald Trump, now knowing he'll be even more emboldened to do whatever he pleases whenever he wants to do it. For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This decision today has continued the court's attack in recent years on a wide range of long-established legal principles in our nation. Now the man who sent that mob to the U.S. Capitol is facing potential criminal conviction for what happened that day. And the American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election.
Yeah, people are saying that the Supreme Court's immunity decision is a blueprint for dictatorship, that they believe that Trump will now come out and rule and do whatever the hell he wants to do. But, I kind of look at it in two ways, and this is the reason why. Yeah, it's foul. If you commit a crime, you should do the time, absolutely, positively. But I guess it's also what they're looking at is optics, right? How does this look for the world out there when you have a president that's in jail, right? It kind of, the optics just look nasty for the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, former U.S. Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn, who was on duty at the Capitol during January 6th, he shared his thoughts on Trump being granted that partial immunity. And let's hear more from him in terms of optics.
I was there when Donald Trump encouraged a mob of supporters to march on the Capitol to try to overturn the results of a free and fair election. I remember it clearly. While they were beating officers with flags, Donald Trump is still the single greatest threat to our democracy. It was true yesterday, and it's true even more, especially after this ruling right now.
Now, there's an optic for you, beating with flags. Dunn claimed that, of course, Trump was responsible for that attack on the Capitol, encouraged the mob, and that Trump encouraged that mob. Now, meanwhile, on the other side of the aisle, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, he's praising the Supreme Court's decision. He recently spoke to CNN's State of the Union, and here's what he had to say about it.
Well, I think what the Supreme Court did is it clarified what the law is, and that is you cannot go after presidents for official acts, and there's a presumption of immunity for quasi-official acts. It is clear that we have reached an era where there are people in American politics who believe that our courts are now a weapon that can be used against their political opponents. You look at what their efforts and what they've done in the courts to persecute and prosecute Donald Trump. They've tried to bankrupt him. They've tried to silence him. They've tried to jail him. They've gone after his allies every single day.
So it's important to note that although this case was about Trump, like Trump brought the case to the Supreme Court, this is going to impact every president who served after him, including the current sitting president, Joe Biden. I'm no legal analyst. I'm just a reporter. So let's hear from a legal analyst, Neil Katyal, who can better explain what those decisions mean from SCOTUS.
It is a 6-3 decision that does side with President Trump on a variety of things. For example, much of the indictment that Jack Smith has is about Trump pressuring the Justice Department officials in various ways. The court says that was part of Donald Trump's official duties as president, and that he is immune for that.
I mean, like I said, that's very scary. That the fact that pretty much Donald Trump could do whatever he wants and he won't be prosecuted. And if he is prosecuted, he won't do any jail time. He won't have any punishment for it. It's very scary.
What we have to try to figure out, or the line that we have to try to draw that boundary is, what is official capacity for a president, you know? So yes, definitely very scary. We'll get more into the politics. I just want to switch gears for a second and talk about a very unfortunate sports-related news story. NFL rookie Kyrie Jackson died in a crash in Maryland, Upper Marlboro, Maryland. That's in Prince George's County over the weekend. The Minnesota Vikings drafted the 24-year-old cornerback in April. Officials say he and two former high school teammates, they went to Wise High School, Isaiah Hazel and Anthony Linton Jr., were driving just southeast of Washington, D.C. early Saturday morning when they were hit by another car. The impact forced their car off the road, and Jackson and Hazel were killed. Linton was taken to a hospital where he later died. No one in the other car was injured in that incident. So that's just very unfortunate. We've got a lot of crazy stuff going on. So, I just want people to just be safe over the summer. And we'll get into more in the next hour, guys. Yeah,
very sad case. Definitely sending our condolences. I mean, if you followed his history and see everything he had to do to get in the NFL and going from school to school and working at grocery stores to pay bills and to finally make it, and for this to happen is very sad. So definitely condolences to his family and always sending healing energy. And that is front page news. Now get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Again, 800-585-1051. Let us know how your weekend was, what you did, how your 4th of July was. We can speak to you in a minute. So call us up right now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne is out today, but let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning, y'all. Yeah, so we missed a lot while we were away, and whether you like it or not, President Biden says he's not going anywhere. He is staying in this upcoming presidential race. He made the comments at the White House during a July 4th event. This comes shortly after he met with Democratic governors and told them he will no longer schedule events or meetings after 8 p.m. to get more sleep. Now, I'm not sure if he wants more sleep or he wants them to get more sleep. Now, CNN reports that left several of the governors frustrated. Days later, Biden spoke exclusively with ABC in his first interview following his poor performance during the debate. Let's hear more from President Biden on ABC.
Because I was sick. I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs with me, I asked them if they did a COVID test because we were trying to figure out what was wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold. It was a bad episode. No indication of any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and I had a bad night.
Yeah, it was a really bad night. And I would say to his team, I know his team does listen, they shouldn't have had him go on that stage like that. I mean, optics is everything, and he looked very weak. He looked very old. He didn't look like he had it together. And that was the point where they would have pulled it and said, hey, I mean, even if they said, hey, we don't want to put him up against Trump because Trump lies and we need a fact checker. But I would have preferred them pull that than to see what I saw. It just didn't look right. He didn't look strong. He didn't look aggressive. He didn't look powerful. He looked very weak to me. And the fact that he's staying in the race, okay, cool. People, were saying that they want him off the race. But I guess the biggest part was not having him because they need people who donated to the Biden-Kamala Harris. I guess they can possibly take that money back if it wasn't Biden-Kamala. But, it's scary to see what I seen that night.
Yeah, Biden was also asked if he watched the debate, and he said, quote, "I don't think I did, no." He went on to say that nobody asked him to take a cognitive test, and he has doctors monitoring him daily. Let's hear more from the president on that.
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have that test. Everything I do. You know, not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. I have medical doctors traveling everywhere, every president does, as you know. Medical doctors, some of the best in the world, travel me everywhere I go. I have an ongoing assessment of what I'm doing. They don't hesitate to tell me if they think there's something wrong.
Yo, hold up. I don't think I did.
But not only that, he says, I'm no longer going to do anything after 8 o'clock anymore. So what does that mean? So if something goes on in the world after 8, like you got to holler at him at 6 in the morning?
Yeah, no, like I need my rest. Y'all always talking about how I'm sleepy, I'm tired, I can't finish my sentences. I don't know if I watched the debate. I need some sleep.
You need so 8 o'clock is a wrap. So at 8:01, you can't call his phone anymore. You got to call him at 6 in the morning?
That's how y'all do your grandparents. Don't bother that man until 6 a.m., please.
Oh, man.
No, in all fairness, he did mention, hey, I'm still running, the country while also being on the campaign trail, the other. Anyways, during the moving on, during the interview, President Biden said top Democratic leaders rather, like Senate Majority Chuck Schumer, House Majority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, they told him to stay in the race. Meanwhile, several House Democrats have said House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries needs to tell the president to bow out of that race. Now, during a Sunday call, at least 4 House Democrats said privately Biden should drop out, joining another 5 House members who have called Biden to withdraw. Illinois Congressman Mike Quigley is one of the Democrats who's calling on Biden to step down. Let's hear from him.
I would say, Mr. President, your legacy is set. We owe you the greatest debt of gratitude. The only thing that you can do now to cement that for all time and prevent utter catastrophe is to step down and let someone else do this. We've got a lot more we can talk about with Trump, not just that he lied 28 times during the debate and that he's an absolute monster, but he has cognitive issues, something that Speaker Emeritus Pelosi brought up earlier this week. She's absolutely right.
So Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders also joined, he entered the chat. He spoke to CBS's Face the Nation, saying people should just focus on the candidate with the best policies. Let's hear more from Sanders.
What we have got to focus on is policy. Whose policies have and will benefit the vast majority of the people in this country. The American people want an agenda for the next 4 years that speaks to the needs of the working class of this country. And frankly, I don't think the president has brought that agenda forward. He has got to say, I am prepared to take on corporate greed, massive income and wealth inequality, and stand with the working class of this country. He does that, he's going to win and win big.
So Sanders conceded that Biden's age is a factor, but emphasized that he's the candidate talking about expanding Medicare and other priorities for American support. Now, several Democratic donors have also decided to withdraw, or if Biden doesn't step down, they want to withdraw their donations and whatnot. Some of those being Netflix co-founder, the CEO of PayPal, and also Abigail Disney. These are big donors for the Biden administration. Meanwhile, former President Trump is trying to distance himself from a conservative think tank plan for the GOP's presidency. You guys heard about Project 2025? Mm-hmm. So Trump on his Truth social media platform said on Friday he knows nothing about Project 2025 put forward by the Heritage Foundation. He said he disagrees with some of the things the group is proposing, claiming they are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. The project, full of conservative initiatives, recommends more direct presidential control of government agencies like the Department of Justice. Democrats, of course, have rallied against this and pointed to it as evidence of an extreme agenda that would be ushered in if Trump wins the November election. Now, some of those things on that Project 2025 list that just it's been sending me is, like a complete ban on abortion. They're talking about completely overhauling some of the, like DOJ and things of that nature. It can get a little extreme, but I think this is something that Trump is trying to make himself seem a little bit more, he's trying to lean a little bit towards the left and become a little bit more moderate. There it is. I'm sorry. They want to cut Social Security, cut Medicare, and the Affordable Care Act, ban African American and gender studies and education on all levels, ban books and curriculum about slavery, ending climate protections. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we'll see what happens as a result of that. Trump is trying to distance himself from that Project 2025 thing. It seems that it would put us in quite the what's the word you used earlier, Envy? Dictatorship?
Yep, dictatorship.
So yeah, we're still trying to figure out which way to go.
Pretty much.
Right? So yeah, that's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood.
Thank you, Morgan. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. You can follow me on social at Morgan Media, and make sure you continue to catch our news coverage on the Black Information Network at BINnews.com.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.